Correct. Yeah, I'm thinking from my West Coast perspective.
This is really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to read the whole thing again. I just wanted to get the line. So from there, from that halacha, the Rambam goes into Zion. Lefikach, because we're obligated to see ourselves as though we were freed. When a person eats on this night, he needs to eat and drink and while reclining in a manner of cheres. So I saw this thing. This is not on a Jewish site. This was on a I follow a bunch of like archaeology sites. So someone posted this. You see the person leaning down there. So this reconstruction shows what life in Herculaneum was like, which is in Italy. You may wonder, why did ancient Greeks and Romans eat lying down? Reclining and dining in ancient Greece started at least as early as 7th century BCE. So that's really early. It was later picked up by the Romans. At that time, the privilege of lying down to eat was granted to all free men. Women, children, and slaves, however, had to eat sitting down, which is an interesting tidbit. In turn, the Romans also began lying down to eat, and women gradually started doing the same. This way of eating, however, remained more common for family celebrations, banquets, and gatherings between friends, as it favored relaxation and discussion. Oh. Yeah, so a nice little historical tidbit there. I have no idea when, Sure. I have no idea. I can also post it in the thingy. That way everyone can share. I have no idea when the takana of Heseva and Arbakosis was instituted. I've never seen anyone comment on that. Right? But the Gemara is like way after.
Sure, that's like 700 BC.
Right. Well, I mean, Yetzias Mitzrayim happened, let's say, in the 14th century BC, right? So like Pesach, Matzah, and Mara we've had since then, but I don't know at what point Arbakosos and Heseva came onto the scene. Yeah, I'll see if I can find that out. Okay, anyway, so that's the Derech Cherus, and it's interesting that he introduces as the Lepikach and he introduces as the Cherus, and then bein anashim bein nashim chayav lishtos b'layla hazeh arba kosos shel yain ein pachos mehen. Okay, so each and every one, whether men or women, is obligated to drink on this night 4 cups of wine, no fewer than that. Even an ani who is supported by tzedakah may not have fewer than 4 kosos, and the shear of each kos is revis. Okay, now there's a lot of complicated shear stuff we can get into, but we're not going to get into. Why does he say specifically about the ani? Right. So I think that is a classic question. And let me just see if Makbili says. No, not that you would be yotze, but that you'd be putter. That you wouldn't have to go. Spend that amount of money. Halachazohi hora lenosne tzedakah legabe tzedakah. Oh, that's the actually main halacha thing. That it's a halacha to the nosne tzedakah and the gabe tzedakah to provide this for the anian.
Oh, I forgot the host one of the things I've been actually
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Based on what we're saying the past couple of days, Rambam Bekius, which is that the halachos was like culminates to like the natural, like that's like the Is that the kiyum? Is that the actual fulfillment?
Correct.
Like it's interesting that after we said all of that, he ends up saying in order to do halachos at Osmo, you do these things like haseva and wine. And it almost sounds like it's not natural.
So let's put it this way: we did say that there was a natural thing, but we also see that that this is a general principle, right? Meaning the fact that the Rambam quotes Psukim about Zachar Taki Evet Hayisa. This is not just a Ma'aseh mitzvah on Pesach, and then also it seems like they instituted ways of demonstrating cherus beyond the natural upwelling, so
this is more of just like classic codification of like
correct
objective standards.
Right. Yeah. And we'll see that in halachos in this next halacha. Okay, I think waefילו ani sbi'Yisrael lo yachal ad sheyasev. So that is a havmina. I think the Rav has a lot of Torah on that. Like, what's the havmina there? Because it's not like you need to buy him I was gonna say you don't need to buy him pillows. And then the Gemara has the case of when they didn't have pillows, they would lean on each other's laps. Yeah.
I thought you did have to give him the same bedding that you do as a general halacha.
Right, but I'm saying for Heseva, we don't require that you need to lean on on an object in order to be able to Heseva.
This is an ani, not Evid.
I thought you were talking about.
Sorry. Oh yeah. So what's the havmina here? You don't have to have a pillow.
Oh, so like you can just lean on the ground?
You can. Right. So that's even stronger havmina then, right?
Right. So what's the deal with them leaning on each other's shoulders?
So that was you mean on the ground? I don't know I don't know about leaning on the ground. Yeah, it is funny. So they lean on each other. Yeah.
I mean, even more than leaning on the arm.
I think you heard it just.
What was it? Yeah. Even on yeah, I think there's a famous Tosfos on this. Anyone know which daf Arvei Psachim starts on?
I want to say
Kuf. Oh yes. Very smart. I think there's a Tosfos that says this. You might think that his leaning is not haseba. Okay, so that's one thing that maybe the RC does hold you do need something to lean on, or maybe it's referring to the fact that in general he doesn't have anything to lean on. Then the okay, and then others explain it elsewhere. But I've heard the idea that the haseba has to be an expression of the kiyum belief of cherus. And if he is not someone who is free, then he would just be acting the part. So it wouldn't have a kiyum of cherus, even though it's a ma'aseh of cherus. Or sorry, it wouldn't have a kiyum of haseba, even though it's a ma'aseh of haseba. Yosef, did you want to say something?
Isn't it all Malik is literally something onto, or kind of like he has no reason to?
No, I think he doesn't have something literal to lean upon. Yeah. Do you have notes on it? Okay, sure. Yeah. This is Rambam Bekius after all. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then he says, Isha ina tzricha haseba. So a woman does not need haseba. Isha chshuvahi tzricha haseba. If she's important, she needs haseba. Okay. Then we'll just read through these to get the idea of the broad picture. Uben etzel aviv. And then a son, when he's in the presence of his father, Bashamash bifnei rabo, and a servant in front of his master, or waiter in front of his master, tzrichin hiseba, they do need hiseba. About talmid bifnei rabo, eno mesiv, but a talmid in front of his rab does not need hiseba. Ela imkin nasan lo rabo rishus. Sorry, he does not do hiseba unless his rab gives him permission. Hasebas yamin ena hiseba, leaning on the right is not haseba. Same thing if you're leaning on your front or on your back or on your front, haseba. So only to the left. When do you do this? When you eat matzah, the kazayis matzah, he says kazayis matzah. That's interesting, because that might imply that's interesting. Meaning because you do eat matzah, we eat matzah twice, right? We eat matzah for the mitzvah and we eat matzah for the afikomen. So this sounds like only once, unless he means every kazayis matzah, but that's a hard read. Yeah, it could be. You can read the hard read. Yeah. Arbakosas, and then drinking the 4 cups. So all your other eatings and drinkings, if you recline, then that's praiseworthy. But if not, then you don't need to. Yeah, Yosef?
That's Zeichel Mikdash, correct?
The Rambam's afikomen is not Zeichel Mikdash, I think, right? I think the Rambam's is Zeicher. Yeah, it's a Zeicher to the matzah. Wait, hold on a second. No. He has a weird sheet on here, I think. Hold on. So just so you know, you find in Perek Vav. He says at the end. I think it's the last one. Oh, here we go. Asru chachamim lechol matzah be'erev Pesach kidei shehe heker le'achilaso be'erev. So the chachamim asru do eat matzah on erev Pesach. Wait, is this? Oh no, sorry. Or is it at the end of Ches? Sorry, maybe it's at the end of Ches at the Seder. That would also be interesting because Perek Vav is about the mitzvah of matzah. But let's see if he says at the end of yeah. Yeah, here we go. Afterwards, you eat. This is when Shulchan Aruch. You eat everything you want to eat and drink everything you want to drink. I always had a theory here that because why does he have to say eat whatever you want and drink whatever you want? especially because you can't really eat whatever you want and drink whatever you want because we can't eat chametz, but you have to like save room at the end. So I somehow had a thought, I don't know where I got this from, that this is part of the kiyum, that the ordinarily you just have a Yom Tov meal, but the Yom Tov meal on the night of the Seder is also a kiyum in cherus, of like eating like a luxurious meal, but I don't know where I got that idea from. After we eat from the meat of the Pesach, even a kazayas, you don't eat anything afterwards. Matzah, so that's the Rambam's thing. And nowadays you eat kazayas of matzah and don't taste anything afterwards, in order that there should be a cessation of the meal, and the taste of the meat of the Pesach or of the matzah is in your mouth, because its eating is the mitzvah. So it sounds like he's treating matzah as like you want to remain with a chefsa shel mitzvah, like, or having an achila of a chefsa shel mitzvah. Not that the matzah is a zecher to the Pesach.
Also,
I'm not trying to learn the whole sugi on this. I'm just saying what I remember from this weird way he states it at the end. Yeah, what was that?
Also, the kazayas matzah based on.
Right. Yeah, that's what we call the afikomen. Yeah, it's a whole confusing question about like what. Right. Yeah, that's the other thing also. Oh yeah, pigeonlets. Yeah. No. Yeah.
What was that, Rambam?
I can't remember. Also, the Rambam has the weird thing about how you eat the Pesach. Yeah, Rambam does not hold. Wait, let's see. V'achrach. Oh, sorry. Hold on. So this is in Vav. V'achrach mevarach on tilas yadayim v'notel yadav shnia. So that's the second washing, because after the karpas. Shari hisiach daito mishas kriyas haggadah, because it was hesach hadas when you read the haggadah. V'lokeach shnei rekikin. You take 2 wafers, right? Because the Rambam holds you have 2, not 3.
Rekikin. Why do they call the matzah?
Rakik is the word that the Chumash uses for a wafer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess
it's a thin bread.
Halachos are also
right. Not necessarily the Ashkenazi thing. Yeah, is that what you were asking about?
No, I was asking is the matzah.
Oh, matzos. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
I was actually got theory. For matzah, you would think to include the Ashkenazi thing, but according to Rambam, that's always in zonos.
that is possible. Cholik echad mehen. I don't know if the Rambam holds its mazonos. I know the Gonim hold its mazonos, because Machshavah Lab, if it's a cracker. One of the 3 shitos in Machshavah Lab is that it's cracker bread. I think the Rambam does not hold that, but I don't remember. Yeah.
Well, if you're being whatever, I'm not going to.
Oh yeah. Cholik echaman, you break one of them. Parus l'tok shalom, you put the piece inside the whole one. Uvarach hamoti lechem, and you make a moti. Why don't we break bread on 2 loaves like on Yom Tovim? Because it says lechem oni. Just like the ani eats with the prusa, so too here the prusa. Then here's what I want to get to. Then afterwards you wrap the matzah and the maror as one. And you dip it in charoses. Okay. The im achal matzah bifnei atma, umar bifnei atma, mevarach al zeh bifnei atma, val zeh bifnei atma. So l'chatchila he has it. They eat matzah and maror together, and if you do it separately, like that's how we do it l'chatchila, then you make a bracha on each one. What was that? Yeah. The achach mevarach brukta Hashem elkeinu mechalam asher kiddusham b'mitzvah v'tzvan al chilas hazevach the ochel mi basar chagigas arba asar tchila. So that you make the bracha on the zevach and you eat the chagiga. Umavarach brukta Hashem elkeinu mechalam asher kiddusham b'mitzvah v'tzvan al chilas pesach v'ochel mi gufa shel pesach v'lo birkas hapesach poteres shel zevach v'lo shel zevach poteres shel pesach. B'zman hazeh she'in sham korban. Nowadays, when we don't have a korban, achar shemavarach hamoti lechem chozu mevarach al achilas matzah umutabu matzah b'charoses v'ochel. Oh, this is why we do it differently. V'chozer umevarach al achilas mar umutavu mar b'charoses v'ochel v'lo yisheh oso b'charoses shema yivato tamo. Don't leave it in the charoses. V'zo mitzvah midivir sofrim. Okay, mar b'zman hazeh. I don't know if the zo is the dipping or the maror. V'chozer v'korach matzah umar umetabo b'charoses v'ochlan below bracha zecher lemikdash. Right. So that's the interesting thing. Also, is like the zecher lemikdash. I think we say in the Ashkenazic one zecher lemikdash to Hillel, who would eat the matzah and the maror with the Pesach together. But the Rambam's is a zecher mikdash, but not to that, because in the Rambam's mikdash time, you would also eat the matzah and maror together, right? In other words, we're not. I think when Ashkenazim do the matzah and maror together, they're picturing an empty sandwich of like without the Pesach. Rambam's saying no, you're doing matzah and maror now to remember the matzah and maror together that you did then. You know, yeah, it's good. This is a whole thing, confusing thing. I just wanted to expose you to the confusion. How do we get here? Oh, with the afikomen. Oh yeah, the kazaisa. Yeah, see, so now it's even more perplexing because you are eating. See, he didn't even say you eat a kazais at the end, did he? Wait, he did. Yeah, he did. Right. So which kazais do you have to? You wanted to read it that shas achilas. Any kazais. That's weird though, right?
I think depending on if you
Right. That's another machlokas. Yeah. I think I think that reading is a little hard. Any kazais of matzah? Right. Yeah.
Because it's a key.
Yeah. Okay. V'shesias. Yeah. V'shesias arbakosas eilafan. We said that already. Oh, we did that. Okay. Yeah. Is this a good place to stop? No, there's one point I wanted to make. Oh yeah. The point I wanted to make is regarding the demonstration of cherus. I think if you go into these sugyas about these different people who don't have to lean, a lot of them have to do with like what we said with the ani of like, it's not just the misa that is the thing. There has to be a certain demonstration or a certain kiyum belev of cherus in order for it to be the mitzvah. Yeah. Okay, let's stop here for today. We don't have that many days.